Hey guys, it's Special Forest. And first off, let me start by saying that I have not forgotten about any of you, all of my subscribers or people who aren't subscribing but watch my videos, like my grandma and some of my close friends or coworkers or my acquaintances. I have not forgotten about any of you. I have been dealing with some personal stuff outside of this, and as I've mentioned before, I get the winter blues or seasonal depression, whatever you want to call it. So that's been a struggle for me, but the weather is getting nicer and I am excited about that. And I even did some landscaping the other day and it just felt so good to be out in the sunshine and get my hands in the dirt. I wanted to film something sooner than now, but with the state of everything that's going on, it's been hard for me to gather my thoughts, which I'm sure it's been hard for everyone else. I think that most of us, at least myself, didn't get caught up in the news cycle and the fear-mongering that a lot of the times that we see on the news, which creates this cycle of this pandemic, this kind of fear mindset. And maybe that caused a lot of us to not take things as seriously as they are now becoming, which I'm glad I didn't film anything before that because those were kind of some of my thoughts on it. I don't know how much worse this is all going to get for all of us, and it could. This may not be the end of it. This is really just the beginning of it. We don't really know what is going to happen. And being in a place of the unknown, of not knowing what's going to happen, can be a very scary place for a lot of people. So, I am currently without a job, and upon hearing that, it was a tiny bit stressful. But what I want everyone to keep in mind, and the message that I have to share today, basically revolves the idea around remaining hopeful in a time when things seem hopeless or uncertain. This has needed to happen for a long time. Something like this has needed to happen. And I'm not saying needless deaths or people dying. I have sympathized with anybody who is struggling with this virus, who has contracted it, who has lost family members over this. This is awful. But on the flip side of all the negative things that are happening, there has to be a positive. That's how the universe works. There is a negative and a positive. There is a reaction to an action. So there has to be some positive that comes out of this. And I want everybody who's tuning into this and watching this to remain hopeful, even when things seem hopeless. A lot of things are coming to light. Things are being exposed. The way that our economy is running, the way that our government is running things, the way that things are built in our society are crumbling, and very fast. It's only taken a few weeks, less than a month, for things to significantly get from bad to worse, if we want to talk in those terms, those dualistic terms. It is exposing a lot of things that a lot of us knew, like deep down, that these things were not working. How people were getting paid, how people were being able to pay their bills, how people were able to pay their rent. There was a huge disparity in that for many people, not just a small percentage, a very large percentage of the country that we're living in is suffering from this lack of inequality. And it is all being exposed. It's all being thrown out into the light. Some people in the spiritual community would say this is the lifting of the veil. People who have been asleep for a long time are now being exposed, and they have to wake up to this paradigm shift. And that is what is happening. The things that have not been benefiting the public, us just working from paycheck to paycheck, just as I have. But there are a lot of people out there who are grappling now with this new reality that is shifting forward. And they have to come to terms with the fact that they've been over-consuming. that instead of actually reflecting on their inner sense of peace and their inner sense of well-being, they keep going out and they keep buying more to try and satisfy their internal needs by looking to external things to replace their internal wants and desires and needs. And a lot of people who have to be holed up in their homes and their houses right now, unfortunately, are experiencing a reality that's not quite pleasant. Some of you probably have homes that are cluttered and full of subscription boxes and things that you bought when you went out shopping because that was your favorite pastime, and things that you need to part with to create more space in your life. But we're creating more space for something new to come in. We're creating space to create a new reality. And a lot of people, this is a giant wake-up call. We're not being distracted by our jobs anymore. We're not being distracted by going out to restaurants. We're not being distracted by going out to bars or being distracted by, getting drunk. Some of us are still, probably imbibing. Unfortunately, that is the case. I mean, what else are you going to do if that's what you've been doing? But it's not going to work the same way it did, because we're not going out and getting drunk and complaining with our friends anymore. We have to really sit with our feelings. We can't go out and shop anymore because a lot of us have lost our jobs. We can't go out to the bars anymore and spend money there and socialize because, again, a lot of people are trying to hold on to the little savings that they have, even if they didn't lose their jobs in this epidemic. This is a huge wake-up call for everybody, and we can either look at it as a hopeless situation. We can get trapped in that fear mindset, or we can look at this as a great opportunity for change, a fantastic opportunity for change. The fact that the economy is collapsing means that the control doesn't actually rest at the top. It actually rests at the bottom. Isn't that crazy? And some of you may have already known this for a long time, but this is having a trickle-up effect as opposed to a trickle-down effect now. And there's so many creative, wonderful, beautiful people who already have known this for a long time. Maybe they were expecting something like this, but not even necessarily expecting it, but maybe even hoping or wishing something like this would happen so that people would be exposed to the reality that so many other people see and that we're being exposed to right now. Don't lose hope. This is just the beginning. Things from certain people's perspective are going to get worse, but it's only just going to further prove the inequality in the world that we're existing in now. What I've talked about in the past about us living in an illusion within an illusion within an illusion, me talking about the systems that we have co-creative, collectively together, we have agreed to live in an environment like this by keeping up the facade that is now falling apart. We don't have to go back to it anymore. And it's going to take like-minded people. It's going to take a coming together to produce a new reality, a new future, one that is going to work for everyone, one that, again, is based in love and compassion for all, not just some. I definitely have more thoughts on this that seem relevant now to share and that I'm sure will be easier to grasp for most people, especially since things are falling apart. Don't lose hope. Things will get better, and it's going to take everyone to make that happen, because we are the majority, and we are the ones who are making the world go round. And because we're not in it right now, it is falling apart. And the people at the top are scrambling to figure out how to put it back together. Humpty Dumpty. It's falling apart, you guys. Anyway, don't ever think for a second that I haven't thought about you guys, that I don't love you, that I haven't been thinking about you. I have more information to share. I'll be sharing it more now. I have no excuse because I have all the time in the world. I love you all so much, and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely evening or lovely day. I love you all so much, and just have a wonderful, lovely day or night. Thank you.